Hello. Missed a couple days because I was mad about something. So three topics today. Shot down. Um, shoot, what was it again? Damn it. Shot down, AI bubble, and Bible reading for Sunday. So let's do it. So shot down. So I missed a couple days because I had an interview with a very top company. I don't think I got it. Um, I just like that's what's annoying about weed code is that you practice. There's so many things you can know. But you can't study everything. So, like, there needs to be some kind of standard for like what you need to not know because like all the weak code problems are kind of like tricky, but they're like ways and stuff or whatever. And it's like, oh, build this thing. It's like, oh, words. And for whatever reason, I just did not have. I just kept making little mistakes that kept burning me. Um, I'm more upset about it because I know a lot of people at this company, and I feel like I'm as smart as them and as capable as them, and yet they got the job, and I'm probably bothered. So I'm wanting, I don't think, running about on the internet now. But things happen. You have to move on. I do think it's worthwhile to get upset about something like in a discrete space. See, if people like to being like, "Oh, it's not so bad. It'll be grateful, whatever." It's like, no, you need to be upset about things. People, I think that's one of the reasons why people are unhappy sometimes is because they think that um, they need to make it right. It's like, no, sometimes it's not right. Sometimes you think bad things happen. You need to be able to allow bad things to happen. There's somebody on the Discord channel that I follow who I've been talking with a lot. She was asking, "Oh, how do you get over a breakup?" And it's like, "Oh, you get really drunk, and then you have a cigar, and then you blame the hangover on the other guy." Like all this kind of like, "Oh, be at peace" and everything that does not work. That's why everybody so has so much baggage because they don't let themselves toss the baggage out. So like, you can't just keep pushing everything down. You need to take a space and say, okay, I'm gonna be upset for this amount of time, but then that's it. So that's kind of where I'm at now. I'm like, whatever. I'll focus on my next project of work. I just do my job, and um, hopefully my investments do well. So, eh, whatever, it's fine. Next topic is going to be AI bubble. I do think AI is in a bubble. I don't know how it could not be in a bubble. It has 3% of the world's energy goes towards AI, and it does not make money. People are like, "Oh, AI could do all these things. It could replace all the computer programmers." It's like, first, do we want that? Two, no, it can't. You can't just say AI go make a program and have it work. That's not how anything works. That's not how the world works. Where it's like, oh, go do something. Okay, now it can aid you. It might be able to take away, replace numerically 20% of engineers, or making the remainder more efficient, but probably not. I mean, the thing is that most of the tech work right now isn't pure programming. You're not just like making a function. That's not what anything is right now. You're doing one of three things. You're maintaining some kind of platform that has some kind of rules. You're working with some kind of API of a pre-existing system, or you're dealing with some kind of security bug, or you're doing whatever else. And you can't just there's no mechanism by which you can just say ChatGPT fixed my code. That doesn't it's not a thing. Now, the other question is, and I saw this the other day, is like if AI is so good, and where are the widgets? Where is the flood of new AI generated widgets? Because oftentimes when you have new programming or new coding or new whatever, you're not creating a new application that's like a huge standalone application. A lot of the code that's being developed for a new code is some kind of widget. It's like a plugin in Chrome or Firefox or something to help your processes a little bit, something like that. So it's something like discrete. It helps you a little bit, and then you're done. Where are the widgets? If AI is supposed to be creating all these new programming, where are the widgets made from that? Maybe they are out there and I just don't know about them. That's possible. Um, I think it's overblown. which is really a problem for the Trump administration. And not to get political in this one, but the Trump administration has invested a lot of money and resources into AI, like $1 trillion or something. If that goes bust, that's gonna be probably the biggest error in the Trump administration. In this Trump administration, I think most things are going well actually for it, better than expected. But if AI pops, that's gonna look bad on them. It's actually gonna rhyme a lot with the COVID. You know, COVID was like Trump doesn't really know viruses. He doesn't, so he trusted experts who told him that to respond a certain way or whatever, and it hurt him. With AI, he's trusting experts because he doesn't know anything about how AI works. Oh, he actually knows how to use AI better than any other politician alive. But as far as how AI is actually functional as an economic thing, he is trusting experts, and it's going to burn him. It'd be really funny if like Trump is the most anti-expert politician. It'd be really funny if historically you look back on it and said, "Yeah, there's 2 times he trusted experts. That's what screwed him." I don't know if it really matters. And if you don't know if you could have an economic recession, and I don't know if it would actually change anybody's political opinions, um, which is really funny. But I just don't know when the bubble is going to pop. You see, I've made a good amount of profit on my AI investments over the past couple of years. When do you sell? Now, if it's all politics, you might want to sell like next year or January and run up to the midterms because it's going to crash to screw Republicans. Or it might crash this fall. I don't know. Nobody knows. The thing is, if you sell too early, you're going to miss out on like 20% gains because of how quickly it's all going up. What I'm doing, I think, is I'm basically investing in quantum computing. Because quantum computing, I think, is still undervalued and it's going to make a really, really big difference. And a lot of people don't know about it yet it's still going up. So people aren't going to remove all their money from tech. They're going to go from AI to quantum because they want to do something that's considered like ahead of its time. They want to be ahead. All of these like VC people, they all want to imagine that they're techies, but they're not. They're not technical at all. They are people who are cosplaying as technical people. That's why when they say it's the tech right, it's like, no, it's not. These tech right people are mostly just venture capitalist people. The actual tech people don't care about politics very much. Most the real technical people, they might vote, but like they're not political. They're involved in funny wars about Windows versus Linux, not the Democrats versus the Republicans, for the most part. I would look askance at any, and this is criticizes me. I would look askance at any tech person who has strong political opinions. I would be skeptical of that. If I was hiring, I would look for tech people with no political opinions because that's probably a good indicator that they're actually just about the job. Which there's a lot of them actually, and they're also probably less likely to be issues of work, and especially on the left. I think the lefty political tech people are problems. I think righty tech political people they get washed out pretty quick if they're not any good. Just based on what the industry is like. So yeah, I definitely think we're in an AI bubble. I think that I don't think AI is going away. I think nobody's gonna like, well, not using an AI, not using ChatGPT anymore. I'm done with that. No, but the amount of money in this, the amount of money being invested into it, I would say it's probably gonna drop by 20%. There's probably gonna be a 20% sell off. I would think. No, I might be wrong, and maybe we're right next to AGI, and we're gonna have AIs that can think for themselves and are sentient and everything. Maybe that's the next thing. Maybe I'm like technically behind. Maybe I'm like not catching the drift of where things are going. I just have a feeling that this is where things are going. Um, it's a search bot. It finds patterns in data and predicts the next word. That's what it does. It's not thinking. And voice thinking, do we want it to? Does that actually make it more profitable? I don't know. Okay, so it is a Sunday, so 3 readings for today. One, you got the Old Testament guy, Amos, saying, basically talking about rich people taking advantage of the system. When is the new moon? When is the new moon over, that we may sow our grain, the Sabbath, so that we may display the wheat? Okay, one of these holy days done. We want to make money. We'll diminish the ephah and add to the shekel and fix our scales. We're gonna devalue currency and sheep. We'll buy this lowly for silver and the poor for a pair of sandals. We'll sell the poor people down the river. Even the refuse of the wheat we will sell. We're gonna sell the stuff we shouldn't be selling. Um, Basically, rich people have been doing this kind of shit for a long time. And the pure capitalist, like right wing perspective, it's just not biblical. It's just not. You got to be a little bit skeptical of capitalism. The meeting two, Paul was basically saying, pray for people that we have peace. There's one mediator between God and men, the man Christ Jesus, who gave himself as ransom for all. Now, is my wish that every man should pray with that every man should pray. So this is where I don't like Paul. Because I'm like, yeah, Jesus way to the kingdom. Yes. I affirm that, I assent to that, yes. But then you're like, oh, it's the only way. It's like, well, am I really gonna say that every like Hindu mystic or Shinto priest or even atheists that they can't get to heaven unless they believe it? It's a bit limiting, right? Am I really going to dismiss the religious experiences of billions of people because they don't have a particular opinion? I'm like, not up to me. I'm not the one making judgments in the final day at all. But I just don't think that's true. I think a lot of people don't really think that's true. Maybe some people do, and I get it, and I respect your faith, I guess. But are you really gonna just dismiss the experiences of the entire world? Anyway. Oh, this one's good. So Jesus, the gospel, a rich man, and I think Jesus more seriously than Paul. That's just obvious. Jesus said to his disciples, a rich man had a steward who was reported to him for squandering his property. He summoned him and said, what's this I hear about you? Prepare a full account of your stewardship, because you can no longer be my steward. Steward says to himself, and what shall I do, now that my master is taking the position away from me? I'm not strong enough to dig, and I'm ashamed to beg. I know what I should do, that when I'm removed from the stewardship, they may welcome me into their homes. So he calls in the debtors one by one. To the first he says, all right, how much do you owe? 100 measures of olive oil. Okay, here's a promissory note. I sit down and quickly write one for 50. Then to another, the steward said, okay, how much do you owe? Guy says, 100 cores of wheat. Steward says to him, here's a promissory note, write one for 80. And the master commended that dishonest steward for acting prudently. The children of this world are more prudent with dealing with their own generation than are the children of light. I tell you, make friends for yourselves with dishonest wealth, so that when it fails, you may be welcomed into eternal dwellings. The man who is trustworthy in very small matters is also trustworthy in great ones. And the one who is dishonest in very small matters is also dishonest in great ones. If therefore you are not trustworthy with dishonest wealth, who will trust you with true wealth? If you are not trustworthy with what belongs to another, well, who will give you what is yours? No servant can serve two masters. He will either hate one or love the other, or be devoted to one and despise the other. You cannot serve both God and mammon. That is an amazing. That is a really fun reading. This is where Jesus. He must have been an interesting speaker. He just must have been. He's just got this guy, the steward, and he is cheating. He is stealing from his employer. And so he's like, oh shit, I need to make friends so that I can have a way to live after I get fired. So he cheats more so that he has people to back him up when he gets dropped. And the master's like, you were smart. You are a competent man. This is good. I like this. I approve. And it's the steward's like, what? So like, yeah, the master's initially mad because he's being a cheat. Then he's like, "You're a good cheat. You're very good at this, and like you're being smart, and you're knowing how to deal with and you're using this dishonesty to help people and help the people that you know." You say, "Okay, I respect that." I don't know what the lesson there is, like, but it's funny as anything. Um, so if you're gonna be dishonest in a way that helps people. Is that the lesson? Help people with your dishonesty. If you're gonna be dishonest, be helpful, I guess. No, I also love the no seven can serve two masters. That is true. That is objectively true. Um, I don't know what the lesson there is. It's just a great parable, and I really would like it. Anyway, that's all I got for now. Cheers.